So I'm here at this beach. I come to these beaches a lot, just north of Cairns area. As you can see, it's beautiful views. It's almost sunset, which sunset is kind of a little unfortunate here because the mountains block all the light, but we still are able to get some color in the sky, so I'm not too worried about that. But it's a high tide. When I came here before, the rocks were all exposed and the trees were by the rocks, but today all these little trees are in the water. So I think that might make for a pretty interesting image. So what I'm looking for is actually I found already what I'm going to photograph. It's this tree right over there, that big one. I think I should be able to set up my tripod with the wide angle lens, and I'll be able to get the tree right in between those two rocks and the mountains in the way far off distance in the background. I don't want these mountains in the background because it'll just be a little bit distracting, and it'll look strange because there'll be no leading line going into the mountains. So this is going to be a pretty simplistic image, and I'll want to put the tree just a little bit on the left of the frame because I don't think I'll be able to get it square in the middle just because there's this other tree in the front here. So yeah, about a half an hour, maybe less, until sunset, and there's some nice clouds, so I'm hoping the clouds will light up really well. F8, ISO 100, 10-second exposure. I always use a 2-second timer just to reduce the camera shake, but these waves probably aren't helping with camera shake at all. But in order for me to line up my composition, I've got to have the tripod in the water. So now I bumped it down to F11. I'm still at ISO 100, and then I'm using the bulb mode now. So I'm gonna use my shutter release. I'm gonna try a 1-minute exposure because it's starting to get a lot darker. When the sun drops down, the light fades fast. And we're starting to get some nice color in the sky. And my feet are pretty wet. I'm gonna start taking an image now. And yeah, I'll give it about 1 minute. So I'm here in tropical North Queensland in Barron Gorge National Park. I'm doing the Smith Trail. It's a nice trail, so a little bit of challenge so far, as it goes pretty much straight up the mountain, as you can maybe see. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different, because this trek follows a river straight through the mountain. Normally I do wide angle shots for landscape photography, but today I'm going to try to do a little bit more intimate pictures. So I've got my 35mm prime. I'm going to try and use that and get some close-ups of the jungle and by the river and everything. So now the trail's getting a little bit easier, and I just follow this creek up, maybe a couple kilometers, I'm not sure yet, but I've already came to some nice little waterfalls here. Got some leaves in the bottom right foreground and then the waterfall in the background, and I'm shooting at f11 ISO 100, 2.5 seconds for the shutter speed, of course using a 2-second timer to reduce camera shake. And what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to focus stack. So I'm going to take a picture for the foreground, focusing on the leaves as close to the camera as possible. And then I'm going to take a picture focusing on the background, on the rocks right by the waterfall. Alright, so I think I potentially might have found one more composition. What it is, kind of right in the middle of the brush right here, but there's this little waterfall onto the rocks down there, and we have these leaves in front of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and blur out the leaves, then focus on the waterfall, and it might turn out to be a pretty interesting image and make you feel like you're deep in the jungle. Which, I mean, honestly, I am pretty deep in the jungle. I'm not sure if I'm still on the trail or not, or if I just went and followed this stream. I'm not sure if it's the way you're supposed to go, but it's good and pretty fun exploring. Photography like this is really fun, where you can just explore with the camera, and it's places that probably no one's brought a professional camera, and it's places that haven't been photographed a million times because it's just not easy to access, and really there's just not many people that live up here. It's not too populated, so it's kind of nice, and it makes you feel like you're actually creating unique work. So I'm here in Barren Gorge National Park. I'm trekking through the jungle right now because just a few minutes ago I'm at the Spring Creek trailhead. I parked and was getting everything ready, getting ready to go on the trail because I'm looking for cassowaries. Because I saw one last time I was here. And sure enough, as soon as I get out of the car, there was a cassowary right behind me in the jungle. So I followed it a bit, took some pictures. Nothing too great because it's pretty cloudy. Well, it was pretty cloudy, so it was hard to get all the settings right to make a good image without motion blur. So now I just loaded up all my gear, got my tripod, and I'm trekking through the jungle trying to find this cassowary. It's a little bit dangerous because there's no trails and no paths, but I've got my compass and I'm pretty sure I got a good idea where I'm going. Just trying to find this guy. I think I hear him, but I'm not positive. So I stopped here at this picnic table to have some lunch, and there's a cassowary just right over there in the jungle. So I'm gonna kind of sneak over with my camera and see if I can't get a couple images.